ceiling fan spins a slow orbit above my unmade bed, tracing circles round every unspoken thought in my head. The coffee keeps cooling while the sunlight creeps across the floor. I stop counting the shadows sliding underneath the door. Just a collection of seconds dissolving in a glass of water. The city is screaming outside, but here the air is much softer. I kick off my sneakers and let the vinyl hiss in the groove, waiting for the static to tell me I don't have to move. Just a ghost in a hoodie watching the dust mold stands, giving every heavy memory a second chance to glance behind the curtain of a day that hasn't found its direction, caught between the silence and a distant pale reflection. Gravity is letting go of the weight I used to carry. The moments are fluid and the edges are getting blurry. I am leaning back into the palm of an ironed out sky, watching a frantic world simply flickering past me by. No maps needed for the territory inside this frame, where the wind has no direction and the fire has no flame. Just drifting on the surface of a deep and steady blue, finding a different version of the person I once knew. Sometimes the loudest noise is the absence of a plan, trying to hold the desert inside the palm of my hand. But the rain slipped through and the pressure starts to fade. I am comfortable sitting in the center of the shade. No ticking clocks to measure what I have felt to become, just a steady vibration of a low and hollow drum. The frequency is shifting to the coast and the gray, and I am perfectly fine with letting the truth slip away. My phone is a dead break, blowing on the kitchen wood. I would answer the call if I thought that I actually should, but the vibration feels like an intrusion on this piece. I am looking for a permanent and psychological lease on a corner of the universe where the math doesn't add up, drinking nothing but the emptiness from a porcelain cup. The neighbors are arguing through the thinness of the drywall. I am just a witness to the rise of the inevitable fall of empires built on frantic west and midnight oil. I am planting my feet in much more forgiving soil, where the grass doesn't grow and the seasons never change. Everything familiar now feels beautifully strange. Gravity is letting go of the weight I used to carry. The moments are fluid and the edges are getting blurry. I am leaning back into the palm of an ironed out sky, watching a frantic world simply flickering past me by. No map needed for the territory inside this frame, where the wind has no direction and the fire has no flame. Just drifting on the structure of a deep and steady blue, finding a different version of the person I once knew. Gravity is letting go of the way I used to carry. The moments are fluid and the edges are getting blurry. I am leaning back into the palm of an iron out sky, watching the frantic world simply flickering past me by. No maps needed for the territory inside this frame, where the wind has no direction and the fire has no change. Just drifting on the structure of a deep and steady blue, finding a different version of the person I once knew. Shallow tides of gray, I'm watching shadows stretch across the bay. My coffee's cold, but I don't mind the chill. The clock is ticking just to keep it still. No pressure on the surface of the glass. I'm letting every heavy moment pass. The static hum is fading from the street. I find my balance where the sidewalk meets the heat. The logic of the day begins to blur. There's nothing left to prove or to infer. I'm drifting on a wave of quiet sound, with both my feet a sequence off the ground. This is where the motion starts to slow. A steady pace where only currents flow. We leave the heavy burdens at the gate and let the simple wonders find their way. It's just the ease of being where we stay before the golden colors fade away. The sky is wide and open for the view, in every shade of deep and silent blue. I caught a glimpse of history in the trees, a story carried on a sudden breeze. No need to rush the ending of the page, with players dancing on a humble stage. The metal and the stone begin to soften. The things we lose are never found that often. So hold the breath and let the spirit lean into the spaces hidden and unseen. The logic of the day begins to blur. There's nothing left to prove or to infer. I'm drifting on a wave of quiet sound, with both my feet a sequence off the ground. This is where the motion starts to slow. Instead of space where only currents flow. We leave the heavy burdens at the gate and let the simple wonders find their way. It's just the ease of being where we stay before the golden colors fade away. The sky is wide and open full of you in every shade of deep and silent blue. There's a kindness in the way the lights are dimming, like a river where the tired stars are swimming. Forget the maps that tell you where to go. The finest secrets are the ones we already know. Just keep the focus on the inner flame until the morning doesn't have a name. This is where the motion starts to slow. A steady race where only currents flow. We leave the heavy burdens at the gate and let the simple wonders find their way. It's just the ease of being where we stay before the golden colors fade away. The sky is wide and open full of you in every shade of deep and silent blue. This is where the motion starts to slow. A steady pace where only currents flow. We leave the heavy burdens at the gate and let the simple wonders find our way. It's just the ends of being there we stay before the golden colors fade away. The sky is wide and open full of you in every shade of deep and silent blue.
Coffee steam is swirling slow against the morning pain. I watch the silver droplets dance and blur the gravel lane. No heavy clocks are ticking here to steal my peace away. I fold the blanket back and let the quiet start the day. The world is spinning fast outside beyond the wooden gate, but I am anchored in this room, I'm content to simply wait. Dusty record finds its groove and cracks a gentle smile. The melody is drifting loose across the kitchen tile. The kettle hums a low refrain that settles in the air. I run a hand through tangled thoughts and find a softness there. There is no map to follow, now no mountain left to climb. Just the sweet and steady motion of a slow and lucky time.
Take the heavy off your shoulders and let the pressure flow. Write your name in summer sunlight on the shadows of the wall. Every breath is like a river flowing easy through the soul. Let the fragments come together till the broken feels like whole. We are floating on the surface where the blue is deep and wide, with the rhythm of the breathing and the turning of the tide.
The golden hours fills with honey on the garden chair. I catch the scent of drying grass and wildness in the hair. The phone is silent on a shelf, a relic of the noise. I trade the frantic metal grip with simple wooden joys. The shadows stretch like hats across the floorboards in a rug. The evening wraps around the house just like a woven hug. The sky is turning lavender above the thirsty trees. I hear the rustle of the leaves and ancient melodies.
There is a logic in the rust that we so often fear, but everything I ever started sitting with me here. No need to chase the sunset down or catch the fading light. I will walk with steady footsteps to the edges of the night.
Unclench the hand that holds the world and let the colors blend. Find a peace within the moment where the tyrant journeys in. Listen to the stillness growing louder than the roar. Set your heavy baggage down and leave it by the door.
Take the heavy off your shoulders and let the pressure fall. Write your name in summer sunlight on the shadows of the wall. Every breath is like a river flowing easy to the soul. Let the fragments come together till the broken feels like whole. We are floating on the surface where the blue is deep and wild, with the rhythm of the breathing and the turning of the tide. light spills amber on the floor. I'm drifting through the hallway to the door. No heavy cloud, just a velvet state of mind, leaving all the static far behind. The kettle hums a low and steady tune, slowly tracing shadows in the room. My coffee steam is dancing with the air, settling the weight I used to bear. Got some old wax spinning on the tray, watching how the dust motes start to play. Not a single clock is ticking on the wall, I'm simply waiting for the leaves to fall. My phone is silent, laying on the shelf, finding some acquaintance with myself. The neighborhood is quiet as a dream, floating like a leaf upon a stream. Oh, take it easy, let the hours glide. Nothing left to drool or seek inside. Just the stillness and the way it feels, turning through the slow and steady wheels. Gravity is gentle on my chest, finding where the weary spirits rest. Golden moments pouring through the glass, watching every frantic feeling pass. The garden fence is silver in the sun, thinking of the races that I won. But now the finish line is just a thought, valuing the lessons that I bought. Sipping on the nectar of the day, watching all the worries fade to gray. A lonely sparrow perches on a swing, waiting for the melody to ring. There is power in the pause between the beats, walking through the calm and empty streets. No one's asking for a piece of time, merging with the simple, steady rhyme. Take it easy, let the hours glide. Nothing left to prove or seek inside. Just the stillness and the way it feels, turning through the slow and steady wheels. Gravity is gentle on my chase, finding where the weary spirits rest. Golden moments pouring through the glass, watching every frantic feeling pass. Take it easy, let the hours glide. Nothing left to prove or seek inside. Just the stillness and the way it feels, turning through the slow and steady wheels. Gravity is gentle on my chest, finding where the weary spirits rest. Golden moments pouring through the glass, watching every frantic feeling pass.
Stretches long across the floor, unpolished sunlight knocking at my door. I pull the sheets apart to block the glare, a heavy stillness settling in the air. No rushing feet, of sirens pulling past, just quiet seconds built to hold and last. My coffee pools within a ceramic ring, watching the hawks above on a steady wing.
I drift through hallways lined with dusty frames, recalling faces but forgetting names. There is no clock, we're ticking on the shelf. I find a rhythm deeper in myself.
The tea kettle begins its lonely hum. I wait for clarity to finally come. The garden fence is peeling white and gray in the slow motion of a Tuesday.
Slow down the motion of the wandering mind, leave all the heavy wreckage far behind. The current carries weightless things along into the fabric of a nameless song, tracing the patterns on the window pane, listening for the cadence of the rain. There is no distant place I need to be, just floating on a calm and gaslight sea.
A stack of records leaning by the wall, I let the needle find a place to fall. The crackle speaks a language old and dry, woven beneath the pale and amber sky. My thoughts are birds that landed on a wire, burning with a low and steady fire. The neighborhood is sleeping in its skin, waiting for the evening to begin.
The shadows lengthen on a wooden floor, I do not need to seek out anymore. The mailbox is empty by the gravel road, relieved of every heavy mental load. I trace the grain upon a kitchen chair, the scent of jasmine drifting through the tilted track, but I am never gonna push it back. Slow down the motion of the wandering mind. Leave all the heavy wreckage far behind. The current carries weightless things along into the fabric of a nameless song, tracing the patterns on the window pane, listening for the cadence of the rain. There is no distant place I need to be, just float along a calm and glass like sea. Listening for the cadence of the rain. There is no distant place I need to be, just float along a calm and glass like sea.
Sunlight leans against the peeling window frame. Slow motion shadows playing a quiet game. I drift between the cracks of a sleepy street, where the dusty pavement meets my wandering feet. No ticking clocks, just the sway of the trees, catching a fragment of a wandering breeze. The coffee lid is stained with a golden rain, watching the world in the stillness it brings. Distant radio hums a faded tune under the gaze of a pale afternoon. The neighbors are talking in a low soft tone, finding a kingdom in a zone of my own. Old sneakers tracing the lines on the floor. I don't need to look for the exit no more, just floating like smoke in a room full of light. Everything heavy is feeling so slight. Take a walk through the silver haze, lost in the center of the easy day. Let the gravity loosen its hold on the ground, and the beauty of the quiet that I finally found. No maps to follow and no hills to climb, just the steady pulse of a different time. Let the colors bleed and the edges blur, back to the way that we originally were. The sky is a canvas of violet and gray, watching the hustle just melt away. There is a harmony in the pause between breaths, far from the struggle of lives and deaths. Just a simple frequency humming along, the unspoken words of a silent song. Street amps are waking with a flickering glow. The pace of the city is starting to slow. I'm sitting on the steps as the air grows cold, watching the secrets of the evening unfold. My pockets are empty but my mind is clear. There isn't a single thing left to fear. The velvet dark is a blanket so wide, but nothing to prove and nowhere to hide. The stars are beginning to bloom in the heights, mirroring the flicker of the valley lights. Every motion is fluid, every thought is still, waiting for the moment to bend to my will. Take a walk through the silver haze, lost to the center of the easy day. Let the gravity loosen its hold on the ground, and the beauty of the quiet that I finally found. No maps to follow and no hills to climb, just a steady pulse of a different time. Let the colors bleed and the edges blur, back to the way that we originally were. head leans against the peeling window frame, tracking shadows like a slow and steady game. I pour the coffee, but I let the steam subside, watching dust motes drift along the silent tide. No pressing phone calls and no clock to watch the date, just the feeling of the concrete fading gray. I find a record with a scratch along the side, let it spin until the morning opens wide. There is a garden growing through the sidewalk crack, moving forward with that looking for the track. The neighborhood is humming quiet lullabies underneath the heavy lace of silver skies. I put my sneakers on and took a southern turn, watching how the amber maple leaves slow burn. I am not searching for a meaning in the flow, just a witness to the season moving slow.
Take a heavy coat up, worry off your back. Leave the heavy stones beside the railroad track. Let the minutes stretch until they disappear. Everything you need is breathing right in here. Let the river keep its secrets for a while. Walking down the city mile after mile. Nothing heavy ever stays within the light. Everything is gonna be alright tonight.
Met a stranger with a story in his eyes, sitting steady where the harbor water lies. He didn't ask me for the time or for my name, since the ending of the struggle is the same. We sat in silence while the ghosts began to wheel, finding comfort in the things we do not feel. The salt is spiking but the air is clear and sweet, feeling steady on my own two tired feet. The horizon is a thread of violet wool, keeping every empty glass and pocket full. There is nothing left to prove or to defend, only beauty at the dusty highway end.
Take the heavy coat off, worry off your back. Leave the heavy stones beside the railroad track. Let the minutes stretch until they disappear. Everything you need is breathing right in here. Let the river keep its secrets for a while. Walking down the city mile after mile. Nothing heavy ever stays within the light. Everything is gonna be alright tonight. Back. Leave the heavy stones beside the railroad track. Let the minutes stretch until they disappear. Everything you need is breathing right in here. Let the river keep its secrets for a while. Walking down the city mile after mile. Nothing heavy ever stays within the light. Everything is gonna be alright tonight. Take the heavy coat off, worry off your back.
I can't spin a while, I lean against the frame, watching Mona Mist dissolve above a screen. The static in my head is finally playing fair. No more heavy lifting for the soul to manage. Ice cubes melting in a glass of herbal tea, tracing patterns on the wood grain of the desk. The neighbor's radio is drifting through the bricks, filtering the chaos into something I can hold.
Everything is moving at a pace that you like.
No more running battles with the ticking on the wall.
Let the gravity take over, let the oxygen arrive.
Finding silver linings in the center of it all. Floating on the level where the pressure never goes. Checking out of every single box and try to close. Keeping it steady while the world rotates around. Feet are touching heaven while I'm standing on the ground. Sorted out the mail and I left it by the lamp. Cleaning out the attic of the thoughts I used to keep. Simple architecture built with nothing but a breath. Walking through the garden of a quiet state of mind. Final grooves are dusty but the needle finds a way. Looping every second like a memory erased. Nobody is cold and so the phone is just a wait. Sinking to the bottom while I rise above the lake.
Everything is moving at a pace that you like.
No more running battles with the ticking on the wall.
Let the gravity take over, let the oxygen arrive.
Finding silver linings in the center of it all. Floating on the level where the pressure never goes. Checking out of every single box and trying to close. Keeping it steady while the world rotates around. Feet are touching heaven while I'm standing on the ground. Floating on the level where the pressure never goes. Faking out of every single box and try to close. Keeping it steady while the world rotates around. Feet are touching heaven while I'm standing on the ground. Floating on the level where the pressure never goes. Checking out of every single box and try to close. Keeping it steady while the world rotates around. Feet are touching heaven while I'm standing on the ground. Floating on the level where the pressure never goes. Checking out of every single box and try to close. Keeping it steady while the world rotates around. Feet are touching heaven while I'm standing on the ground. Clock hands dragging through the thick afternoon air. Found a seat where the sunlight blazes into a chair. Ice melts in the tumbler, gold liquid turns thin, tracing every single pattern that's etched on my skin. No missed calls flashing on the screen of the phone, just the weight of the silence making sense of the night. Clouds shifting shapes like they're trying to hide, while the tide of the city stays locked deep inside. Floating on the surface of a dream, half awake, taking only what the calm of the moment can take. Gravity is loosening its grip on the floor. I don't need to seek shadows or open the door. Steady breathing as the heavy motion slows down. Lost the map and the keys to this concrete town. Let the static wash away until the vision is clear. Nothing but the cooling of the atmosphere. Steady breathing as the heavy motion slows down. Watching all the golden lights settle on the ground. Let the static wash away until the vision is clear. Nothing but the cooling of the atmosphere. Distant hum of the engines, just a blur in the back, leaving all the cluttered thoughts on a different track. Dust dancing in the beam like it's got nowhere to be. That's the same kind of freedom that's washing over me. Old records stacking by the side of the bed, telling stories that I've already kept in my head. Peace isn't loud, it's the lack of the noise. Finding all the balance in the simple poise. Floating on the surface of a dream, have a way of taking only what the calm of the moment can take. Gravity is loosening its grip on the floor. I don't need to seek shadows or open the door. Steady breathing as the heavy motion slows down. Lost the map and the keys to this concrete town. Let the static wash away until the vision is clear. That's about the cooling of the atmosphere here. Steady breathing as the heavy motion slows down. Watching all the golden lights settle on the ground. Let the static wash away until the vision is clear. Nothing but the cooling of the atmosphere here. Breathing as the heavy motion slows down. Lost the map and the keys to this concrete town. Let the static wash away until the vision is clear. Nothing but the cooling of the atmosphere here. Steady breathing as the heavy motion slows down. Watching all the golden lights settle on the ground. Let the static wash away until the vision is clear. Nothing but the cooling of the atmosphere here. Steady breathing as the heavy motion slows down. Lost the map and the keys to this concrete ground. Let the static wash away until the vision is clear. Nothing but the cooling of the atmosphere. Steady breathing as the heavy motion slows down. Watching all the golden lights settle on the ground. Let the static wash away until the vision is clear. Nothing but the cooling of the atmosphere.
Counting the cracks upon the white ceiling ash. The clock hands I'm weaving without any dash. My morning coffee brew is getting cold again. Just watching the sunlight dance over my pen. Loose threads hanging off the edge of the sleeve. Nothing to prove and nothing to retrieve. The neighbors are talking out by the iron gate. No reason for rushing and no reason to wait. Slow motion drifting through the afternoon haze. Finding a path through the quietest maze. Let the heavy world spin on a different track. Walking away and not looking back. Easy lean against the silver door frame. Knowing the secret and forgetting the name. Floating along on a simplified way. Holding the moments that I want to say. Dust motes are diving in columns of gold. Stories of silence that never get told. The radio hums with the low frequency. I am right where I predicted I would be. No anchors are dragging and no wires are crossed. Finding the treasure in everything lost. Shoes kicked aside by the rug in the hall. Leaning my shadow direct on the wall. Slow motion drifted through the afternoon haze. Finding a path through the widest maze. Let the heavy world spin on a different track. Walking away and not looking back. Easy lean against the silver door frame. Knowing the secret and forgetting the name. Floating along on a simplified way. Holding the moments that I want to say.
on the garden gate. The clouds are just shapes with no particular aim. The fire is gone, but I like the flame. Slow motion drifted through the afternoon haze, finding a path through the quietest space. Let the heavy world been on a different track, walking away and not looking back. Easy lean against the silver door frame, knowing the secret and forgetting the name. Loading along on a simplified way, holding on moments that are not so shame. Drifting through the afternoon haze, finding a path through the quietest maze. Let the heavy world spin on a different track, walking away and not looking back. Easy lean against the silver door frames, knowing the secret and forgetting the name. Floating along on a simplified way, holding the moments that I want to say. I want to say.
I sit by the window watching the clouds drift slow.
I sit by the window.
The city below moves at a pace I don't need to know.
I don't even know.
My coffee is lukewarm, but the mood is just right.
No pressures on my shoulders.
No shadows inside. I let the needle drop on the dusty old groove, feeling the static till my spirit starts to move. There is a calmness in the way the curtains swing, simple medicine for whatever the day might bring.
The clock on the wall has forgotten how to chime. I am floating in a space beyond the reach of time. Nothing is urgent, nothing is etched in stone. Finding a kingdom inside of being alone. Steady gliding through the silver afternoon, humming aloud to a lazy half-light tune. Gravity is loose and the air is feeling sweet, laying down my worries at the corner of the street. Keep it flowing like a river wide and deep. Promises to myself are the only ones I keep.
Yeah. The telephone is sleeping in the drawer across the hall. I am not picking up if the world decides to call. Got some faded denim and a stack of paper sheets, writing down the stories from the quiet of the retreats. The pavement is steaming from a heavy summer rain. Washing out the static and the echoes of the rain. I recognize the beauty in the dust motes in the sun.
Counting every second till the busy work is finished. The clock on the wall has forgotten how to chime. I am floating in a space beyond the reach of time. Nothing is urgent, nothing is etched in stone. Finding a kingdom inside of being alone. Steady gliding through the silver afternoon, humming along to a lazy half-light tune. Gravity is loose and the air is feeling sweet, laying down my worries at the corner of a street. Keep it flowing like a river wide and deep. Promises to myself are the only ones I keep. Steady gliding through the silver afternoon, humming along to a lazy half-light tune. Gravity is loose and the air is feeling sweet, laying down my worries at the corner of the street. Keep it flowing like a river wide and deep. Promises to myself are the only ones I keep. Silver afternoon, coming along to a lazy half-light tune. Gravity is loose and the air is feeling sweet, laying down my worries at the corner of a street.
watch the clouds settling heavy on the concrete line. The city breathes a different air in a fading light. Counting seconds by the static on the radio dial. The neighborhood is sleeping in a fractured style. Moving slow like the ink when it flows from the pen. Tracing patterns in the dust till the morning begins. No gold on the neck, just a weight in the mind. Leaving every bit of memory a mile behind. Take a seat on the edge of the world tonight. Watching shadows dancing in the pale moonlight. Everything is moving at a steady pace. Finding all the solace in an empty space. Hold the moment till the colors start to fade. Living in the silence so the choice is made. Keep it easy, let the heavy feeling slide. With the universe working on the inside. The pavement holds the heat of a day long gone. Staying composed until the break of the dawn. Grab it on your stolen, but I learned how to flow. Keeping every single secret in a tattered coat. The air is thick with the stories untold. Turning all the copper into shimmering gold. Footsteps ringing on the sidewalk bricks. Finding clarity within the mental mix. The clock is ticking, but I threw the key away. Listening to what the quiet has to say. The skyline is a jagged piece of broken glass. Watching all the people in the moments pass. Stitched together by a single thread of calm. Holding the entire future in a steady palm. The horizon is a blur of the softest gray. Melting all the tension of the working day. Every breath is a chapter that I haven't read. Clearing out the clutter, filling up my head. Take a seat on the edge of the world tonight. Watching shadows dancing in the pale moonlight. Everything is moving at a steady pace. Finding all the solace in an empty space. Hold the moment so the colors are dark to fade. Living in the silence so the choices made. Keep it easy, let the heavy feeling slide. With the universe working on the inside. Take a seat on the edge of the world tonight. Watching shadows dancing in the pale moonlight. Everything is moving at a steady pace. Finding all the solace in an empty space. Hold the moments of the colors are dark to fade. Living in the silence of the choices made. Keep it easy, let the heavy feeling slide. With the universe working on the inside.
I watch the cold sunlight crawl across the dusty floor while the coffee settles down behind a heavy door. No need to hurry when the shadows lean so long. Just a quiet breathing humming through a simple song. The silver hands upon the clock have lost a heavy weight. I am standing patient by the rusty garden gate. Let the neighbors talk about the things they need to buy. I am busy looking at the patterns in the sky. The leather of my shoes is worn from walking on the sand. Holding nothing but the hollow space inside my hand. The mailman brings a letter that I probably won't read. I'd have found a different kind of harvest in the seed. A mellow breeze is tangled in the branches of the pine, chasing out a wavy path along a crooked line. Everything is moving at a pace that feels like race, finding all the hidden beauty in this empty space. Take it easy as the afternoon begins to fade, resting in the cooling velvet of the lucky shade. There is plenty of tomorrow in the coming night. Everything is balanced in the fading of the light. Keep it steady as the river wanders to the sea, floating on the water just as lonesome as can be. Not a single worry blowing in the gentle gale, walking down the maze of love along a winding trail. Take it easy as the afternoon begins to fade, resting in the cooling velvet of the lucky shade. There is plenty of tomorrow in the coming night. Everything is balanced in the fading of the light. Keep it steady as the river wanders to the sea, floating on the water just as lonesome as can be. Not a single worry blowing in the gentle gale, walking down the middle of a long and winding trail. Sometimes a man can get lost in the noise of a crowd, thinking that he needs to shout his name out very loud. But the stones upon the mountain never say a word. They are the most honest voices that I ever heard. I will take my lessons from the rolling of the tide, with nothing left to cover and with nothing left to hide. The evening smoke is curling from a chimney down the road. I am shed a heavy burden from a heavy load. The crickets start to whistle in the tall and yellow grass, watching all the frantic moments time start to pass. The
The world is spinning round just like a vacant made of glass, reflecting every second as the minutes change their class. I'm leaning on the porch until the stars begin to show, happy just to witness how the quiet things can grow. Take it easy, every afternoon begins to fade, resting in the cool and velvet of the lucky shade. There is plenty of tomorrow in the coming night. Everything is balanced in the fading of the night. Keep it steady as the river wanders to the sea, floating on the water just as lonesome as can be. Not a single word blowing in the gentle gale, walking in the middle of the moment running trail. Take it easy, every afternoon begins to fade, resting in the cool and velvet of the lucky shade. There is plenty of tomorrow in the coming night. Everything is balanced in the fading of the light. Keep it steady as the river wanders to the sea, floating on the water just as lonesome as can be. Not a single word blowing in the gentle gale, walking down the middle of the long and winding trail. Take it easy as the afternoon begins to fade, resting in the cool and velvet of the lucky shade. There is plenty of tomorrow in the coming night. Everything is balanced in the fading of the light. Keep it steady as the river wanders to the sea, floating on the water just as lonesome as can be. Not a single worry blowing in the gentle gale, walking down the middle of the long and winding trail. Late night gazing at the ceiling fan spin, counting every shadow where the light gets thin. Coffee in a ceramic mug, cold as a stone, finding comfort in the silence of being alone. No calls to return, no games left to play, just watching the gold turn to purple and gray. My sneakers are dusty from the paths that I took. Now I'm reading my life like a library book. Take it slow, let the heavy clouds drift, feel the weight of the air start to shift. Nothing to prove and nowhere to run, just catching the glow after setting the sun. Smooth sailing through the velvet and blue, keep it steady and keeping it true. Old record spinning on the needle and dust, ironing out the creases in the mental rust. City sprawl humming like a giant machine, but I'm tucked in a corner staying calm and serene. The clock on the wall has forgotten the tick, choosing a memory and making it stick. The steam from the pavement clears up the mind, leaving the pressure and the worry behind. Barefoot on the floorboards, feeling the grain, listening to the cadence of the falling rain. The world keeps turning at frantic pace while I'm finding beauty in an empty space. Take it slow, let the heavy clouds drip, feel the weight of the air start to shift. Nothing to prove and nowhere to run, just catching the glow after setting of sun. Smooth sailing through the velvet and blue, keep it steady and keeping it true. Take it slow, let the heavy clouds strip, feel the weight of the air start to shift. Nothing to prove and nowhere to run, just catching a glow after setting the sun. Smooth sailing through the velvet and blue, keep it steady and keeping it true. Sliding down the avenue where the asphalt breeze. Lowering the pressure till the engine feels at ease. Golden hour paint shadows on the brickwork walls. Gravity is softening while the evening calls. Spinning up a treasure from a dusty plastic sleeve. Giving all the tension an official grand reprieve. Sipping on the silence like it's filtered through the ice. Watching how the skyline tries to treat me twice.
Mercury is dropping as the traffic lights dissolve. Every riddle finds a way to self-resolve. Lavender and amber bleeding through the open pane. Washing out the static and the echoes of the strain. Counting all the blessings in the palm of my hand. Drawing silver circles in the desert made of sand. Feet above the pavement but I'm steady on the floor. I don't need to knock upon a solitary door.
Floating on the current of a velvet state of mind. Leaving every heavy piece of yesterday behind. The moving is a river and the river is a song. Drifting where the mellow and the steady both belong. It's a gentle revolution in a subtle kind of blue. Finding something honest and original and true. The weight of all the world is just a feather in the breeze. Moving through the seconds with a natural sort of ease. Suspended in emotion like a spark inside a jar. I can see the flicker of a solitary star. No one's in a hurry to define the way we feel. Just leaning on the balance of the spinning of the wheel. The quiet isn't empty, it is filled with heavy light. Everything is glowing in the middle of the night. Tracing out the patterns that the street lamps provide. Nothing left to cover and there's nothing left to hide.
Deep into the pocket where the tempo stays low. Letting all the frantic energy just vanish and go. Smooth around the edges like a stone inside a creek. Listening to secrets that the city doesn't speak. Clock is on the table but the hands are standing still. Curing every fever with the lack of any will. Clouds are moving slower than the blinking of an eye. Writing out a message on the canvas of the sky.
Coolness on the forehead like a copper panic press. Turning down the volume of the daily messy stress. Comfort in the static of a low fidelity. Building up a kingdom for a king of liberty. Breathing in the sweetness of the carbon and the pine. Knowing for a moment that the universe is mine. Flowing on the current of a velvet state of mind. Leaving every heavy piece of yesterday behind. The movement is a river and the river is a song. Drifting with a mellow and the steady both belong. It's a gentle evolution and a subtle kind of blue. Finding something honest and original to crew. The weight of all the world is just a feather in the breeze. Moving through the seconds with an actual sort of ease. Floating on the current of a velvet state of mind. Leaving every heavy piece of yesterday behind. The movement is a river and the river is a song. Drifting where the mellow and the steady both belong. It's a gentle evolution and a subtle kind of blue. Finding something honest and original and true. The weight of all the world is just a feather in the breeze. Moving through the seconds with a natural sort of ease.
Asphalt breeze, a heavy sigh under the amber glare. I drift through the static, hanging in the midnight air. No ticking clocks, just the low hum of the spinning wheel. Translating the silence into how this heavy spirit feels. I settle deep into the velvet of the worn out sea. Finding the sanctuary away from the poison street. My thoughts are folding like paper cranes in the dark. Searching for a fire within a dying cooling spark.
Ice cubes melting in a glass of golden bitter brew. Watching the skyline fade to a hazy shade of blue. The city is a mosaic of dreams that never woke. Floating like the remnants of some distant silver smoke.
I don't need the answers, just let the questions stay. Let the morning sun feel 1,000 miles away.
There is a secret frequency in the way the shadows fall. Writing invisible stories on the cracked and faded wall.
Take the way we are and let the gravity let go. Moving with the current in a steady, easy flow. No more chasing shadows, no more racing for the prize. Just a steady glowing embers reflected in my eyes. Keep the world outside the door and turn the volume down. Finding clarity within this hollow concrete town. Solid Solid ground is shifting, but I am staying still, leaning into the comfort of a solitary till.
The record spin the tale of a time I never knew. Vibrations in the floorboards pulling me right through, past the noise and the friction and the jagged edges too, where the only thing that matters is this panoramic view.
A suspension of the struggle, a truce with the day, watching all the heavy clouds slowly drift away. There is poetry in the way the neon fails to shine, a broken beauty that I claim is exclusively mine.
No pressure to perform, no lines I have to speak. In this quiet corner where the weary and the weak can find a moment of grace without a single word, finding a melody that the restless never heard.
Tuning out the static in a frantic days, finding a little bit of heaven in this thirsty space.
The horizon is a promise that I'm ready to keep, while the rest of the neighborhood is buried under sleep. I am floating in the middle of a dream that is wide awake,
counting every single breath that I finally choose to take. Take the weight off and let the gravity let go, moving with the current in a steady, easy flow. No more chasing shadow, no more racing for the prize. Just a steady glowing hours reflected in my eyes. Keep the world outside the door and turn the volume down. Finding clarity within this hollow concrete town. Solid ground is shifting, but I am staying still, leaning into the comfort of a solitary chill. Take the weight off and let the gravity let go, moving with the current in a steady, easy flow. No more chasing shadow, no more racing for the prize. Just a steady glowing embers reflecting in my eyes. Keep the world outside the door and turn the volume down. Finding clarity within this hollow concrete town. Solid ground shifting, but I am staying still, leaning into the comfort of a solitary chill.